If you are planning to caucus tonight, it's about time to head out the door. Those caucuses start at 7 o'clock on the dot, and if you are not in line, they're not going to let you in. Classes are canceled for the rest of the week here in the Perry School District. On the first day back from winter break, the lives of the community were shattered by a 17-year-old student turned gunman. Income taxes in Iowa could be dropping for everyone, and the cuts could be coming sooner than the current plan. Area education agency reform has been a major priority this session of Governor Kim Reynolds. Problem is, she has her own way she wants to do it. The House has their own ideas, and Monday the Senate passed their own version of reform. Kathy Stockdale's family has farmed this land in Iowa Falls for more than 100 years.
Corn and soybeans, and our son in the last 8 years has come back to help farm.
The proposed Summit Carbon Solutions pipeline will run through her farm.
It will be going all the way down to the road down there, and then it will be cutting the whole farm in half all the way down to where wetlands down at the next road.
She's opposed to the pipeline.
I'm fighting for my property rights. I believe God gave us this land to take care of, and with that comes those property rights. And if we lose property rights, we lose all control over anything and everything we want to do on our farms.
For the past 3 years, lawmakers in the Iowa House have passed legislation to rein in the use of eminent domain. Most recently, a bill by State Rep. Charlie Thompson would allow landowners and pipeline companies to go to court to ask whether the use of eminent domain was constitutional and benefited the public.
Land is the original asset in Iowa. It's in our souls. An unjust taking of land without remedy is not only irritating, it's outrageous.
Stockdale has been at the Capitol nearly every week for the better part of 3 years and says she's talked to enough senators to know it would have passed if they brought it up.
As a Republican and as an Iowan, it bothers me tremendously that only 3 or 4 senators can stop any legislation from going through.
Despite the setbacks, Stockdale doesn't plan to stop fighting.
Are you giving up?
No. No, it just makes us fight harder, especially with the new extensions. It's what we're already starting to reach out to landowners and fill them in on what's really going on.
Stockdale says she has a little more faith in legislation being passed next year, and she and other landowners are also looking at their legal options through the courts. In Iowa Falls, I'm Connor Hendricks reporting. This is the Gadsden flag specialty license plate Republican lawmakers want to create. Republicans in support of the Tea Party movement began using the flag around 2009. Democrats say not so fast.
I think our biggest issue with it is that, is this really needed? There's so many things that are needed and that we should be talking about. It just seems like a silly thing to spend our time on.
House Democrats have filed 29 amendments on the bill in an act of defiance. 28 of those include a specialty license plate proposal, like State Rep. J.D. Scholten of Sioux City, who wants a plate protesting Major League Baseball television blackouts. State Rep. Sue Cahill of Marshalltown's amendment would create a plate that reads "Feed the Kids" in response to Governor Kim Reynolds' decision not to participate in the summer EBT program. State Rep. Brian Meyer of Des Moines added a plate that commemorates the United States Capitol Police.
It's a commemoration of their great work on January 6th.
House Democrats say they don't have a problem with the Don't Tread on Me flag itself. It's where the money from the plate goes. The bill sends funds to state organizations affiliated with the National Rifle Association to conduct training and education on the right to bear arms. One of the amendments Democrats have tacked on instead sends funds from the plate to area education agencies to provide counseling after school shootings.
Maybe perhaps we should focus on the aftermath of gun violence instead of sending money to the NRA.
What would you say to those folks that say, well, if you don't like the plate, then just don't get one?
Well, I won't. But I'm being asked to weigh in and give my opinion on it here today, and so that this is my opinion. I think it's silly. I don't think taxpayer money should be going to the NRA, and I think that our amendments do a good job of illustrating just how silly this is.
House Democrats say they'll likely withdraw some of these proposals. If they don't, House lawmakers will have to vote on all 29 of them one at a time before the original bill can even be debated. Democrats say they know these proposals aren't going anywhere. They're just trying to prove a point. Classes are canceled for the rest of the week here in the Perry School District. On the first day back from winter break, the lives of the community were shattered by a 17-year-old student turned gunman.
That's one of the worst moments of my entire life, but the best phone call I got was saying that they were okay.
Police say 17-year-old Dylan Butler had a shotgun and a handgun when he started shooting just after 7:30 Thursday morning at Perry High School. Officers responded within minutes to find students and staff hiding or running away.
I cannot forget to recognize the teachers, faculty, and students involved who acted bravely and heroically in this tragic situation.
Officers found the gunman dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They also disposed of what they called a rudimentary explosive device. Among the victims, a 6th grade student killed. 4 other students wounded along with the high school principal. All of them are expected to survive. Investigators say they are still investigating what drove Butler to open fire.
Butler also made a number of social media posts in and around the time of the shooting.
It's impossible to understand why anything like this happens. But again, I want you to know that we'll work tirelessly to get the answers so that we can prevent it from happening again.
As the investigation continues, the community is left in shock.
Hug your babies. My husband left at 6 o'clock this morning, and she jumped in the shower right after he left, and he's like, that could have been the last time I saw her. And it's just, it's hard. It hits you.
This community has been through tough times before and have rallied together. I'm sure this time will be no different.
Governor Reynolds pledged state support for Perry and ordered flags to fly at half-staff. In Perry, I'm Connor Hendricks reporting. There are more than 82,000 former Boy Scouts across the country who have filed claims in the $2.5 billion settlement. Former Scouts from Iowa could get less than what they're entitled to because of the state's narrow civil statute of limitations on child sex abuse cases.
In Iowa, that deadline is when a person turns 19 years of age. No other state bars teenagers from civil courtroom. Iowa is the only state that does this.
A bill in the Iowa Senate opens up the statute of limitations for just the Boy Scout settlement.
We're hoping that this legislation will help open that up to from 300 to 350 Boy Scouts in the state of Iowa who have filed claims against this trust fund.
Republican State Senator Tim Kryenbrink of Calhoun County says lawmakers need to get a bill signed into law quickly.
We're looking at a deadline.
Democratic State Senator Janet Peterson of Des Moines says victims in the settlement are entitled to up to $2.7 million, but if the state law doesn't change, would only get around 30% of that amount.
Our goal is to make sure that they're not penalized because their abuse occurred in Iowa.
Kryenbrink says that while the state can't change the past, he hopes the bill is something positive for victims.
I don't think there's any way of giving them back their life from when this happened to them, but will it give them some type of relief or some type of acknowledgement that they were wronged? I do believe that that is something that it will help with.
Peterson also says she hopes the bill helps the victims in this case, but says lawmakers need to eliminate the civil statute of limitations for child sex abuse cases entirely.
Iowa needs to do a better job of protecting our children. Our laws right now really do a better job of protecting predators and institutions that cover up crimes against our children.
When speaking with reporters Wednesday, Governor Kim Reynolds said she'd be open to signing the bill. At the Iowa State Capitol, I'm Connor Hendricks reporting.